Hello beauties! So you notice I have no lips right now. It's because my dog like slammed into my face and like bruised up my lip, and it's kind of bloody, so I'm kind of trying to wait for that to heal for a little bit. Okay, so I've never done one of these, so I'm like kind of excited, nervous, like I don't really know how it's gonna turn out. I've told this story like a few times, so I'm hoping that I can like get it in the right order that like will kind of make sense to you guys. Okay, so I see this in a lot of videos. I'll say it to you as well. Go grab your snacks. I suggest for this, the best snacks would be like some type of marshmallow, candy corn, a candied apple, something to kind of fit with this Halloween themed vlog. I'm doing like all these like spooky stories. I want to do a video every day until Halloween, so this is just one of them. I just want to preface this with, this is a very fluke thing, and when it actually happened, they told me, they were like, this is like a 1 in a million type thing, like no one has to worry about this again, like this is, and we got everything inspected after, so I'm just gonna preface with that. It's gonna make sense later. It's not making sense now, but just wait for it. It'll all start to make sense. Okay, so this happened a year and a half ago. So I used to live in Connecticut, and I lived in like kind of like a suburban area, but it was going more towards the woods, and we had like a lot of land, and like there was a creek and like a river, like we had a lot of land, and we lived in like this really big old house, like huge. So this is how my room was set up. So it's like my bedroom, and then like a door, and then like my walk-in closet, another door, a bathroom. And in this walk-in closet, there was like 2 sliding closets that you could open up, 2 double sliding closets you could open up. Okay, it's like in the afternoon, early afternoon, and I like get out of the shower and I go into my room to go get dressed for the day. Had like a ton of stuff I had to do, so I was like, okay, I need to get dressed, need to get ready. So I go into my room, I take off my towel. I was showering in like one of the other bathrooms, not my bathroom for some reason. Really not important. So anyway, so I take off my towel, like throw it on the bed or something, and mind you, my room is a mess because it's always a mess no matter where I live. It's always a wreck. So my room is a wreck. And so I'm walking around naked in my bedroom. So I'm in my bedroom, bare, just a bare, and I go into my walk-in closet, and I go into one of the like sliding double closets, and I open it up, and I'm like looking for clothes, and I have so many clothes, like ridiculous amounts, so they're like really tightly packed in there. So I'm like looking through it, and I know I want to wear like, you know, whatever it was that day. So I'm like looking through, and I'm kind of like inside my closet, so I'm like, as I'm picking up hangers, and the bar is pretty high, so as I'm picking up like hangers to look at clothes are like kind of like falling on me and stuff. It's not a big deal. So like I pick up something, and something else that's lodged in there gets like it hits me on the shoulder. So I'm like, okay. I look over, it's like a black crop top. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So I like throw it away, like just throw it on the ground, don't care. So I continue to search, and can't find what I want. So I close that sliding door, open up the other sliding door, and I'm searching, and then like, bam, super hard. Like I can't even tell you, it felt like I could hear it like that. Falls, and this is like, I was summer, so it was a little skinnier, so it was like kind of a deep, and I was grabbing stuff, so it was like really protruding like that. So anyway, so I see like some things in there, and it's black, so I'm like, it's another black crop top, whatever. So I look, and I'm like, it's really heavy. So I like go to like touch it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is not a crop top, and I like fling it like at the ground, and I look, and to my horror, it is a big ass bat. So I'm like, oh my god. And another like just fun fact about me is I've always been really afraid of getting rabies, like to the phobia amount, like not like a normal person, like, oh, I'm afraid of getting rabies. Like, no, like I'm like petrified of getting rabies. Like I've in my head always been like, I'm gonna get rabies one day, and that has like freaked me out. There's 3 diseases that I'm really or like ailments that I'm really afraid of: rabies, appendicitis, and meningitis. Meningitis is one of the few shots I have because I'm so afraid of getting meningitis. Like, I have all the regular ones, but in college when you have to go get those like extra shots, I really didn't want to get the meningitis shot, but I'm so afraid of getting meningitis that like I was like, okay, I have to get it. And good thing I did, because in my middle school, high school, and college, people all got meningitis, and like I didn't, thank God. So, but anyway, so always been super afraid of rabies. Like, I've always kind of lived in like an area where it's easy to go, you know, do things in the forest or in the woods, I guess. So like when I lived in Long Island, my friends and I were hiking, and it was during the day, and there was like these raccoons that started growling at us, right? So I was like, those raccoons definitely have rabies. And I immediately called like animal control, was like, I don't know what's going on. I think these animals have rabies. They're like growling at us, blocking the path, like all this stuff. And like, you know, they were like, oh, like, don't worry, like that's just because there's a lot of people in the area that give them food, like don't worry about that. So crisis diverted. But when I was really young, like 2, I'd play in the woods like all day every day, and I guess a girl that lived in our town also used to do this, and she wound up getting bit by a bat and getting rabies and not knowing about it, and she wound up dying. So that's kind of like why. And then like after that point I stopped playing in the woods. So it's like that's like kind of just like something that's always stuck with me, and I've always been kind of like really scared. And so anytime I see like a raccoon or like a bat or like any type of wild animal, I don't want to be anywhere by it. Like, I'm so scared. So anyway, so I'm standing there like naked in my walk-in closet, and I'm just like staring at this dead bat that was just in my collarbone. I'm just staring at it on the floor, and it's like its chest down on the floor, its wings are like under it, and its like head is like facing my bedroom, and I'm like going towards my bathroom because I just jumped away from it, and I happened to jump towards my bathroom. So I'm freaking out. I'm screaming, I'm crying, I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs. Like, honestly, I've never experienced something so traumatic in my life. I couldn't even like think. I was just screaming, crying. I called up my mom at work, screaming and crying, and I was shaking so violently that I couldn't even like talk to her on the phone. Like, I was just like shaking. I couldn't get over it. I was just like really in my mind, like out of it. So I was like freaked out. And she's like, you need to calm down, you need to calm down, you need to calm down. So in this time, I actually get a business call, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to answer it. So I actually answered on the other line, and I'm like, hello? The person's like, oh, hi, is this like Nikki? And I'm like, yeah, can I please call you back? And they're like, is everything okay? And I was like, oh yeah, no, I just have a cold. So I like hang up on them, get back on the phone with my mom. She calls like a bat exterminator, basically. So like he calls, and they're both on the phone with me, right? So my mom's on the phone. It's a 3-way call with this bat guy and myself. And so I'm freaking out, crying, losing my mind. He's like, where are you in the house? I was like, I'm in the bathroom, in the doorway of the bathroom. And he's like, okay, this is what I need you to do. I need you to get like a bucket. I need you to put it over the bat. And I was like, no, the bat's dead. Like, it's been like 5-10 minutes. The bat hasn't moved. Like, the bat's dead. He's like, listen, I just need you to like calm down. I need you to get like a bucket, pan, pot, like something, cover the bat. And I was like, no. And then all of a sudden, as he says this, the bat like turns its head all the way around and stares at me. And I look at it and I go, oh my God, it's not dead. And it gets up and starts to fly at me like some type of psycho. So I slam my bathroom door. So now I'm trapped in my bathroom naked, and there's no other way like out other than going out towards the bat. And I'm freaked out. Like, I am like out of my mind. So the guy on the phone, the bat exterminator, is like, listen, you can't let that bat escape. Like, if you let that bat escape, we'll never know if it has rabies. Like, you know, you're gonna have to go get shots. Like, and it's dangerous. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like freaking out. He's like, you need to like get out of the room. You need to like get it together. So I like open up the door, bat's gone. I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, listen, I'm on my way. Calm down. Like, you know, just like when I get there, open up the front door. He's like, don't open up any other doors or windows. He's like, the bat's somewhere in the house and we're gonna find it. So I'm like, okay. So I quickly get dressed. The guy's there in a couple minutes. So he comes in the house. My room is a wreck. And he's like, did you leave your bedroom door open? I was like, no, my bedroom door has been closed. But there was like a gap under the door, right? And he's like, bat could have flown out under the door. And I'm like, okay, that's good to know. So I'm freaked out. So he's like, where'd you see it? And I'm like, the walk-in closet. He's like, we're gonna have to go through everything in the walk-in closet. So literally we had to pick up every single piece of clothes, pat it down, make sure the bat wasn't in it, throw it in a pile. And I have like hundreds of things of clothes, and we had to do everything in the closets too. And there was like makeup boxes and like sponsored products. There's so much stuff in the, so basically we wasted like 2 hours going through all this stuff. Wasn't in there. He's like, not here. I'm like, oh my gosh. So then like, I'm like so freaked out. And the first thing he actually did when he walked in my room is he's like, bats like to hang behind pictures. So I have this creepy picture that no one would probably believe me unless they saw it in person, but my friends who've seen it in person are like, that painting's weird. And it's like constantly changing, like it constantly looks different colors. So we call that the haunted painting. And so he picks up the haunted painting, searches it, bat's not there, puts the painting back, right? So then we search, we go in my closet, bat's not there. We're searching my room, we take apart everything in my room. He's not in my room. My mom gets home at this point. She's helping us look. Bat's nowhere. Like, we can't find this bat. He goes, listen. He goes, I could do like this echo video locator thing. He's like, chances are we're still not gonna find the bat, and that's like a couple $1,000s. So we're like, all right, I guess that's that, right? So as he's leaving, I'm like, listen, can we check behind the haunted painting again? I was like, I don't know why, I just feel like the bat's like here. He's like, if the bat's behind the painting, because the painting's right next to the door, he's like, with how many times we've opened the door, it would have gone out. So I'm like, can we just check one more time? He's like, okay. So picks up the painting, it's not there, right? And I'm like, I was just like, in my mind, I was like, please let the bat be here. He's like, checks the painting, not there. Checks the painting, not there. Like flips it over, flips it back, flips it over, not there. Then he like, the wood on the sides, he puts his hands like in between the canvas and the wood and goes like this. Out comes the bat. The bat had like burrowed itself in the frame. So the bat's flying around my room, and he like sees the bat guy, flies at the bat guy ducks, flies at my mom ducks, flies at me, I duck, flies back around to the bat guy. I'm like, I'm getting out of here. So I open up my door, leave them in there because I'm a bad person. They catch the bat. The bat starts biting the bat guy like crazy, just biting him, screaming. I've never heard a bat scream. This bat's like freaking out. And like very unfortunately, the bat had to be put down because that's the only way you can test a bat for rabies, and the bat guy was like pretty convinced that this thing had rabies, and like because it was biting him, it needed to be tested. So like I felt really bad for it. So he let me know that it was a baby brown bat, and like when this happened, he said it was like birthing season for that type of bat. So what probably happened is the bat was like in a tree, and because like I have a lot of pets, so we keep like the doors open. When the door was open, it probably fell out at some time during the night when I kept the door open, flew in the house, and that's how it got in there. So he said it's like really, really rare, like bats almost never do that, but it does happen. And so because of that and the rarity, he was like, this bat definitely has rabies, it was biting, it was on you, like all this stuff, so I'm freaking out. So I'm like getting upset just thinking about it. So like we have to call animal control, they have to test it. I think it's like CDC Connecticut had to test it too. And so like they were like, it'll get back to you in a day, but like, you know, be very cautious the next, like until you get the results back. So we're like, okay. But I had plans with my boyfriend. I tell him this whole like incident, and he's like, listen, he's like, I'm not afraid like of getting rabies. He's like, I want to get your mind off it. Let's go do something fun. And I'm like, no. He's like, yes, we're doing it. Like, I don't care what you say. So he picks me up, and we drive to the airport, and I'm on the phone the whole entire like 40-minute ride to the airport with CDC Connecticut, and they're like, listen, with everything that we know about this bat, we're almost positive it has rabies. If you don't get your rabies shot within like the first 48, 72 hours, they're like, we can't help you. You can't get the shot, and like you're done. And they're like, you're gonna need to get shots at all points of contact, as well as like either in your arm or in your butt. So I'm like, great, so I'm gonna have to get a shot in my collarbone, in my hands, like the palm of my hand, and in my arm and my butt. And then she's like, you need to get a shot. I think it's like the first day, the third day, the fifth day, seventh day, like there's a whole round of shots. I think it's something like 38 or 40 shots total. And I'm just like, this sucks. And then, you know, I'm just like terrified. I'm like so like scared, right? I'm crying, like I'm going in and out of like hysterically crying. So anyway, we get to the airport, and my boyfriend's like, we're gonna go to Montauk. And I'm like, I don't wanna be around any people. He's like, it's fine, we'll hang out on the beach. Like, everything's gonna be okay. So I'm like, okay. So he had like a private little plane. So we fly over to Montauk. We're on the beach. I'm actually like starting to relax because like we're on the ocean. It's beautiful. It's like we're watching the sunset. It's just like absolutely beautiful. And after like this horrible day, it's just like so nice. So we brought like only one chair because it's about like 2 miles from the runway to the beach of a walk. So we're like, we'll just bring one chair. we bring one chair, and like I'm in a swimsuit, ooh, hitting stuff. I'm in like a swimsuit. So I'm sitting like on his lap, and we're like watching the sunset, watching the ocean, you know, whatever. And then I was like, you know, you're so nice. Like, you're not even afraid of like catching rabies from me. Cause at this point, I'm pretty sure I'm rabid. And he's like, I'm not afraid at all. Like, you know, like he had kissed me earlier. Like he wasn't afraid. He wasn't like bothered by it. He's like, worst case scenario, I have to get the shots too. Like wasn't like worried. So I'm like, okay. So we decide to, you know, it's getting late. We're going to leave the beach. So I sit up. Now this is very gross. So if you have like any type of like trigger warning, I would say skip ahead for about a minute, because this will take about a minute to tell. So so I sit up and I like look, and we didn't go in the water. So I like look down and he's like soaking wet. And I'm like, why is he soaking wet? And then like I kind of feel like I'm soaking wet too. And I'm like, why am I soaking wet? And it's pretty dark, right? So I like put up the light on my camera, on my phone, and I look. Apparently, because of all of the stress, I had started my period 2 weeks early, and like blood everywhere. Disgusting, horrible. Luckily, I had like a change of clothes with me, so I just like changed clothes, flew back. Like now he's freaked out because like kissing, I guess he was just like, you know, kissing is fine. If he has to get rabies shots, fine. But now he's like covered in my rabies blood, basically. So he's freaked out. I'm freaked out and embarrassed, but like I don't really care that much. But anyway, so that's that. So I get home. I wait the next day. It's been like 24 hours, no call. Wait the next day. It's been 40 hours. So I have like 8 hours to get the shot, or like it's not gonna like happen for me. So I talked to them on the phone, and they're like, listen, we still haven't gotten the results back, but also because of like the way that the spat was stored, it might come back inconclusive, and it comes back inconclusive, you still have to get the shots because it could still have rabies. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And they're like, we suggest you get your rabies shot because this thing was like almost definitely rabid. Like you need to get your rabies shot. And I'm just like, I can't do it. Like I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm like praying, freaking out, freaking out. They're like, listen, you have up to 72 hours. So I'm like, okay. So the next day, like the 72-hour day, I'm calling nonstop. Do you have the test results? No. Hour later, hi, do you have the test results? No. Pick up. Hi, do you have the test results? No. So like I literally get dressed. I'm like, all right, I have to go to the hospital. And I'm like, I text my boyfriend at the time, and I'm like, I think I have rabies. They haven't texted me back. I have to go to the hospital. Like, you're gonna probably have to go too, get your shots. And he's like, oh, that's not good. And I'm like, I know. Okay, so it's like 71 hours and 30 minutes, right? I'm on my way to the doctor. I get a call, and they're like, hi, blah, 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 blah. Is this like so-and-so? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, we just want to call that, you know, the bat was, it was negative. I was like, what? They're like, oh, it's negative. It doesn't have rabies. I was like, inconclusive? And they're like, no, not inconclusive, just negative. It doesn't have rabies. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, it doesn't have rabies. You're fine. And I'm like, I've been freaking out for 3 days. Like, what? And they're like, no, yeah, you're fine. You're okay. You're totally fine. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like, thank God. Like, I didn't wind up going to the hospital. I didn't get there quite yet. Didn't go to the doctors. I was kind of dumb to have waited because it very easily could have gone the other way. But I'm just so thankful and like, thank God that like I was okay. But honestly, it was so traumatic that 3 days I was just like losing my mind the whole time. Like I was so freaked out. I was so worried. But yeah, so that's my story. No, I didn't have rabies. I was convinced for 3 days that I did, and I acted as if I did. Like I didn't leave the house other than to go to Montauk. But like, yeah, it was a really, really freaky, scary time in the life. I've never ever been that scared since, or after or before. I don't know. I've never been that scared in my life, ever. Ever, ever, ever. It was terrifying, like the worst thing that I've ever gone through. And like I said, this is like a really rare thing. And they said like bats do get in houses, especially in like wooded areas, but they said like after this all happened, we got like a full, like the bat company literally came, did this full inspection on the house to make sure there was no like holes in the house, a roof, foundation, like nothing, to make sure that everything was like spick and span perfect. They were like, yeah, it's perfect, like, and like I am like the type of person that I leave, like I still do it and I really shouldn't, but I leave my back door open like all night so my dogs can run in and outside like all night. So that's what happened. That's my story. I survived somehow. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to hear like another story time video, let me know. If you don't, that's fine too. I hope you got some type of enjoyment out of the horribleness that I went through. If you guys want to see something else, you guys want to see, like, I've got a million haunted stories, like, of ghostly things that had happened. So, like, if you guys want to hear something like that, or you guys want to hear, like, a creepy story that happened to me or anything like that, comment below, let me know. I'll definitely make it, because I love doing this. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave it a big like and subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you next video. Bye, beauties. Mwah.